and hospitality. She began the trend for international destination weddings as early as 1998. Being a trendsetter, for Meher, it is always about creating a magical moment. And she strives to deliver flawless experience where the bride, the groom, their families have all the time to enjoy the wedding rather than worry about the nitty-gritties of the event and its management. She has won applause, awards, and is humbled by the appreciation that she has gained from her peers, clients, and workers all around the world now. Sound of Music was established in 1994. That is the company Meherji is associated with. In 1998, Meherji decided to use the same banner to set up a wedding art, a theme and concept division that managed wedding decor, event management, themes, gift packing, and such affiliated service under one roof. This went on become one of the most uh, India's first companies to organize and shape wedding industry. We welcome you for this wonderful time that we are blessed with to have learning from you. And I am thrilled to have you here, ma'am. And we welcome you on behalf of AAFT University and AAFT Noida. I would request you to now start the session with maybe talking about your journey, and the floor is with you now.
So thank you, Ritu, for this wonderful introduction. Most of you are privileged that you're going to design school. I never had that opportunity. I did try, but I failed. I never got through the entrance exam. So you people out there are really, really lucky and blessed that you're going through design school. Whether it's interior design or fashion design, both are integrated with each other. In olden days, like many, many years ago, before there was intranet, before there was Google, before there was Pinterest, before you could explore designs online, there was a trend that would be set by a fashion designer somewhere. This fashion designer would be influenced by certain things, and they would create a complete production which would go on the ramp. Because there was no digitization of content then and no availability of people being able to see this new fashion trend, whether it was in the space of garments, whether it was in the space of bags and shoes, or whether it was in the space of any luxury but fabric oriented space, there was a time that people had to wait. So the upper haute couture, the couture, they would see everything and they would get it right from the fashion ramp, and they would be privileged because for the next 6 to 8 months, this style would not go from the fashion ramp and the exclusive corner into the masses. It would take time to flow into the masses. These fashion trends also had a massive influence on interior design. Interior design was more permanent, and it was something that was there. Interiors were there to stay. You couldn't change it as a jiffy as you would change fashion. So there were seasons that were defined, and there was style that happened. And now the era that you guys are present in, that you are living in, is where inspiration comes from various things. And it's not only just interior that bends back on fashion, but it's also fashion that looks at what interior is doing today. There is a space of fairs that happens. There's interior fair, there's fashion shows. There's a lot happening together. And you youngsters are at such a beautiful crux where you're seeing both these things happen together. Whereas for the older generation, one had to wait. It was aspirational to get something designed by some famous designer. But today, each one of you can make your own mark because you have this beautiful digital space where you can present yourself, where you can be present, and where you will be able to even portray your design. If it gets picked up online somewhere and somebody sees your work online, they're going to call you up and say, hey, you're doing a wonderful job, and why don't you come and work with us? In our times, we didn't have that liberty or the facility or that awareness, etc. So, well, I call myself a well self-made designer. I have learned along the way. I have tried very hard to keep up with the trends by traveling to different countries, being able to see what they do over there and how they do it over there, and what is architecture and what is interior, how are grand hotels doing versus how are boutique hotels doing, how is the interior space panning out, what's happening on design trends, what's happening on trends where fashion is talking about, how is fashion changing so fast, how is it not just a seasonal thing that used to happen at one, it used to be the spring fashion and the autumn fashion, but today we are seeing that everything is just flowing gradually into each other. Now, coming back to what I do and why I need this excellent background that you guys are learning today, and I hope that you pay attention to everything that you learn when you are sitting in your classes, because you don't know what is going to be that little thing that's going to take you from a 0 to 100. You don't know, so you be observant, you be listening, you see, and you try and be a sponge, just absorb, see what's happening, absorb, and then put it into practice. When you're given projects and assignments, some of you might be just sitting down on your projects and some assignments when the day it is to submit it, or maybe a week before you start working on it. But true evolution comes when you start off at a point and it keeps improving and improving and improving and improving. And that's what I did with myself. So today I feel like I'm like a honeybee. I portray myself as a honeybee. So Ritu, if you'll just go into my PowerPoint so that I can start from there, and they can have it. So if you go to slide 2 of my presentation, which talks about me. Are we on, Ritu? Sorry, I can't hear you. The AAFT masterclass presentation.
Just give me a minute. I'm just putting it right there.
Okay, so now if you come to slide 2 of my presentation, and this is what I'm going to talk about. So this is me. I consider myself to be a bee. I'm busy. I keep myself busy all the time. And when I say that I have a bee in my bonnet, it means that I have something in here that's buzzing all the time, and that's thinking, and that's doing things that have to be done. I say that I'm organized as a honeycomb. A honeycomb is where a bee lives. It's his residence. So you need to be organized. So if you look at the shape of a honeycomb, it's like a little pentagon, and these pentagons are connected to each other. So if you get organized in one space, you get organized in other spaces. And that is what my work is all about. So as a wedding planner, I organize and fix in all these little honeycombs together to make it a complete beehive. When you look at a bee's hive, the beehive is filled with these little bees. So these little bees are producing honey, they're producing wax, they're producing all kinds of things. So till the time you don't learn to work as a team wherever you're working, you will not be able to successfully deliver. And I have a team which consists of mostly freelancers when I come to do my weddings. And these freelancers become a part of understanding what my style is and become a part of my team.
अभी रूटीन नहीं बना है इसका अभी ज़्यादा चेंज हुई है ना यार.
Hi Ashok, can you turn off your mic please? Ashok Chavla. Thank you, Ashok. So, and over the years, over these 27 to 30 years, I've learned that if you want to make your position well, you need to rule. And to be able to rule, you need to have the right kind of team behind you because you can't do everything alone and by yourself. So yes, this is who I am. I'm India's first wedding stylist and planner. I have my own product. I had my own production house. I had my own floral team. I had my own event team. But today I've taken a back seat. I've decided that I don't want to do like 350 weddings that I did, which was a record breaking exercise in 2005. I've decided that I want to do niche work and presentable work. I've been awarded, which is what Ritu has already told you, and I've been recognized by various presidents of various countries, including the government of India. So we'll move to the next slide, Ritu.
Yeah.
Okay, now who are we? We are a bunch of people sitting here today who are going to have this wonderful conversation, which consists of fashion designers like yourself, fashion designers and fashion decorators. These are two different things that you might want to branch out to eventually in life, where fashion designers are more to do with fashion of garments and shoes and other materials, etc. But when you become a fashion decorator, you look at the fashion ramp, you look at where your displays are happening. It's a different kind of space that is evolving today, merchandising, window dressing, etc., which is where a fashion decorator comes into place. Similarly, you have interior designers. Some of you are learning to be interior designers. The interior designers will look more at the structural aspect and not what an architect does, but a little one step lower than them. And then there is also interior decoration, where interior decor rests more on soft furnishing, on carpets, on paintings, and what's around me, and what should I put at this height, and so on and so forth. So that's what is uh, your interior decoration part. Coming to another space, which you guys must look at because it is a career opportunity. It is something that you guys are qualified for and you guys can do, is explore the space, the vast space of events and decor and weddings. Now, events is a separate space, decor and design is a separate space, and people who have the qualifications to who studied interior design would all or architecture would also learn to become a production engineer. Now, when we do weddings, what is it that we do? Ritu, if you can move to the next slide.
Yes, ma'am.
So when we do weddings that are pleasing to the eye, and that is what you guys are also being trained to do. You have to make things that are pleasing to the eye, that are nice and visually great to look at. You like creating new spaces, you like decorating new spaces. These are all very, very significant parts of the design community. Next slide, Ritu. Now, as I'd mentioned earlier, the fashion trends and the interior trends, these are things that earlier in the earlier days I've explained to you how they used to come down, and today they are all mixed up. So we can't say fashion takes the lead in deciding what happens and interior follows. So it's all intertwined. But there are influences. So what is it that is the influence of today? It could be a socio economic influence that influences design and style. So say, for example, there is a Go Green campaign that's coming. So what happens in that Go Green campaign is that the fashion designers decide to use organic material. They do a specific kind of stitch. They decide that this whole thing is going to be green. It's going to be natural. You may want to use khadi. You may not want to use synthetic material, and so on and so forth. Is how your mind gets influenced. While the people who are doing interiors will first see that, oh, okay, this is becoming a trend. So maybe I should look at architecture and interiors of a space to be green. So let's make green offices. Let's make green hotels. Let's make green factories. And you go with the green coverage, you go with the walls of green plants inside the office, and so on and so forth. So these are basically influences. And in these fashion trends and these influences go on to further produce what we call is a design and an influenced design in the world today could be like at a common platform. So like we are sitting in the days of COVID just now, and we know that for the next 6 to 8 months, we may require to wear on a mask. So what is happening in the world of fashion? They are designing garments and they're designing matching masks. For men, they're designing shirts and then they are designing the tie to match the mask and so on and so forth. So this is how influences happen in any space. And the wedding space is no different. The wedding space, it goes into what is it that the bride wants, what is it that the groom wants, what is the parents wish, and these are things that are influences to create a great design for what it is that uh, people can do. Now, how do you fit in? Ritu, if you can change the next slide. I can't hear you, Ritu. Yeah. So now, where is it that you fit in? You are skilled in drawing, in sketching, in understanding what are colors, in understanding unique materials and how they can get used. So trending is a very, very important part for the wedding industry. We look at what is happening in the fashion world, in the interior world, what is the general lifestyle, and we look at what is the color of the season. I will ask you about this. How do you predict the color of the season at the end of my session? And then we look at unique materials that are produced and what would be the trending outfit. And say for example, if Anushka got married at Lake Como, so that became a trendsetter, so everyone wants to now go to Lake Como. If Priyanka Chopra decided to get married at Umaid Bhavan Palace, now everyone wants to go to Umaid Bhavan Palace, so it's become like a trend. So these are trends, and in fashion and interior space also you have these trends. So what I'm trying to tell you over here is that what you're learning is everything that is required for the wedding industry. Every skill set, every topic that you study is very, very applicable into the into the wedding space. So we look at um, everything from entertainment, we are looking at stylizing photography, we are looking at making trends, we are looking at making waves. And if you feel that you don't want to be a follower and you want to be a leader, then you need to jump into the space of weddings, because that's where you produce like this. You see the result in front of your eyes, you say, oh wow, that was fabulous, and then you move on to the next project, which can be something else completely different. Next slide, Ritu.
It is taking a while.
No problem, we have the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, what is it that a wedding planner does? A wedding designer is very, very different. A wedding planner is looking at budgets. She's looking at logistics. She's looking at hospitality management. She's looking at event management. She's looking at entertainment and how to place it over there, and what kind of entertainment goes with what kind of occasion. There are several ancillary services like a mehendi wala or a photographer or so on so forth. There are people who do special effects like a balloon with a lady flying down and distributing roses to somebody, or a hot air balloon where you want to go and exchange the rings, so you want to fly up into the sky, or you want to fly a two-door BMW sports car on a chopper for somebody's birthday. So these are all things that I have done, and they've been very, very exciting.
Wow,
These are the things that a wedding planner has to do. So if some of you have great organizational skills, you all can look at that also as an alternative career, because you have the design aspect all with you already. So next slide, please. Now we go to destinations, we visit exotic destinations. What are we supposed to do over there? So when we do go to a destination, we are supposed to see the area that we are given, which is a space. Now, as an interior designer, you would get into the space, you would drop a great layout plan. You would say, this is where I'm going to put a stage. This is where I'm going to have the London Symphony Orchestra play from. And this is where I'm going to have the bride enter from and the groom enter from. And this is what I'm going to do. While the fashion designer over here, who's now a wedding designer, she's going to say, okay, so for these plottings, this is how I want the look. So the bride wants to go all pink because it's the color of the season, or it's a color that she likes. So I'm going to incorporate pink, maybe in ombres, maybe in hues and tones, and how I want to present it, and what is it that I want to see people wear. So there's a lot of fashion play that comes into that space. So everything flows from point A to B to C. It's very, very methodical. So people with organizational skills, I'm telling you, this is the right career for you to get into. Next slide, Ritu. So coming to little aspects, like you can see a little picture on sides that I have put in. Now, when you're designing something, it could be inside a house. This is inside a house. So you've got the right kind of chairs, you've lit it up with the right kind of ambient lighting, and then you've used a color palette. So what goes on a contrast with a little purple color is shade of blue. So you go ahead and use a color blue. So this is how you look at designing decor. Next slide, please. You're looking at interior. So you interior designers in there, you know what an interior space looks like, but how does it look when it's going to be at a wedding? So what all can you do and what all should you do? So there are banisters and there are flowers over here. So this is just me making you aware of what all there are, where the design aspect has to flow from one point to another. Next slide, Ritu. We can go fast on these ones.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, these are nuptials and ceremonies. So when I talk about influences and I talk about trending today, you're seeing that ruffles is fashion. I'm wearing ruffles. And similarly, if you look up here in this image on top in the roof, you'll find some fans hanging with ruffles on them because that is the current fashion.
Yeah.
Next time. Table decor. Table decor is very, very important to people. People want to be able to see each other. So any interior designer, when he's planning a space, he's not going to put obstructions over there that you can't look beyond. You have to have infinity, a vision of infinity. You need to get into point zero. And how do you do that? So sometimes people make these huge blunders, like making big flower arrangements in the middle of tables, and you can't see the person sitting opposite you. So this is the use of glass, and again, it's mind that has been applied so that you can have a look at people across the table. So again, it is a little bit scientific and not just something put into the other because it looks good. Next slide, please. I already spoke about the ruffle trending. I already spoke about what is influencing what. So that's a close up for you on the tent. We look at murals, so it's very, very artistic and satisfying from an artistic point of view. So we do murals, and you can express your freedom or love for art when you're doing a wedding by creating things like this tree of life that is sitting behind this little couch over here. Linen also plays a major role, and you have to style it with the kind of decor that you're planning. So over here, we've planned something royal and a Mughlai kind of tent, which is what you saw previous pictures of. And that is why the linen over there also has been specially printed and designed to go with what we were planning as a theme over here. Next slide, Ritu. Tents and gazebos. This is built in somebody's front lawn in the house. So from the windows, we didn't want to hide the green, so we made these large windows that you can see on the left and right side, from which you can see fountains and waterfalls that are presently existing. So we bring the indoors outdoors and the outdoors indoors, and that's a game that we play very often when we are doing weddings. So structurally designing this is where the interior artist would come into play. Next slide. Soft furnishing and decor design is a point that I touched upon earlier. So again, as you can see, this table that is laid out, the motif on the tablecloth matches the motif on the cushions, if you see, so that there is harmony. If you see the chair back, you can see one small corner chair back over here near the table on the right side. Now that little motif is also matching. So everything needs to flow. It needs to be part of a design concept, and it can't be something that's completely varied. Okay, so this is how the soft furnishing design detail works in weddings. We can go to the next slide as well. Now, thematic parties, people like to have themes. People say that, oh, we couldn't go to Hard Rock Cafe in so-and-so country, but we want Hard Rock Cafe of that country to be brought to us. So then we do very fun sangeets, and we do bachelor parties and bachelorette parties and and so on and so forth. So, so there is thematic stuff, fun stuff that you can do as well. So this is how we say that, you know, there is so much space and there's so much to play around. And if you're creative, it's just the right kind of career that you should look at in the future. Ritu, we can go to the
I
next
sent
slide.
Shikha the creative for this seminar. Didn't reply. ठीक है.
Was that Sandeep?
No, ma'am, that's Raghav, sir.
Raghav?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I'm talking about fashion again. Now, fashion in a wedding plays a large role, and the job of a planner is also to be very fashion conscious. Like I said earlier, the trending is very, very important. But if you are going to do a Mughlai theme, you don't want to see the bride in a gown. You want to see her in something that's Mughlai. So your advice to the bride and groom, and if you are qualified again with these beautiful skills that you're acquiring at AAFT, you will be able to convey this message much better to the bride and groom.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important that each thematic event has the bride and the groom dressed in a particular style. Now, apart from style, color plays a very, very important role over here. Now, if the bride is wanting to wear pink on that day, you will not touch the color pink. You will go into complementary colors of pink so that your decor she stands out in your decor. Imagine she's wearing pink, so I want a pink decor, and you do pink and the bride is lost. You don't see her at all. So you can't make those kind of mistakes. So understanding colors, palettes, complementary colors, secondary colors, tertiary colors. These are very, very important things that you learn in school. And that is what you must apply when you move out if you want to get into this kind of a space. We'll take the next slide, Ritu. Again, makeup, jewelry, all these things have to be thematic. All these things have to be strung together. So you, being a fashion designer, now you're going to get a chance to even talk about hair, makeup, jewelry. You could be an interior designer and you could be doing the same. You could be very passionate and you could be very creative. And you could come and decide what is going to be the next trend for the next kind of makeup that you want, what is going to be the kind of jewelry. You can sit and design that also, that if I'm doing a theme that has peonies, maybe I'm going to ask the jeweler to make a special piece for the bride with a peony flower. And that, or if I'm using orchid, you would have seen that in a few years ago, the orchid as a jewelry item, even in fashion, it had gained suddenly gained a lot of popularity. And that was because the Thai princess had got married that year. And that's because she used her national flower, which is the orchid, as her jewelry item. And that became a trend, and that carried on for nearly 5 years after the wedding was over. So that's like a really solid trend. So imagine that you have this beautiful canvas in front of you that you can paint in the color that you decide it's going to be. Now coming to bridal entries and design ideas. So there are how the bride enters the house, how the bride enters a venue, how the groom enters. These are all figments of creativity. Entertainment design, like this, what you see over here is a graphic that is made for a stage backdrop that was portrayed in a size of 180 feet in height.
Oh, wow.
So I don't even want to get into the length. It was around 500 feet, and it was a complete end-to-end LED projection. And these little fountains that you're seeing over here were moving. So if you go onto my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see it over there. That it's moving, there's movement, the flowers are shaking, there are butterflies flying, there are birds flying in the sky, and there is the moon that's coming in and out. There are stars that are twinkling. So this is all very, very heavy creative work that goes into entertainment and set design. The same quality, if you think you can excel in it in this kind of space, you can move into even doing weddings. They are huge. They are, into Bollywood set designing. It's an amazing space. I've had the good opportunity to be on 2 sets. One I worked as an assistant, and one I worked on my own design. And both these movies are very, very popular, and they are hit movies. And I was able to do a set which was amazing, because when you're doing a film set, it's there for 3-4 days, and the shooting happens over a period of time. And how to change the morning light into the evening light, it's an amazing experience. So you guys, you guys are learning so much. You guys must put all this stuff into practice wherever you all decide to work. So don't limit yourself. My only objective is, don't limit yourself to what you are learning in your books currently. Don't limit yourself to a set career path. I stepped out. I innovated. When I decided to become a wedding planner, there was no such concept of wedding planning. There was nothing. There was no Google. There was no Instagram. There was no email. I had to do it all by myself, by standing on ground, by going to places. I said, I'm not rich enough. I can't fly to Europe to see what's happening in Europe, but I want to go there and see what's happening there. I want to go to Italy. I want to see what's happening there. So I picked up a job for a short period of time with an airline. I was able to fly. I was able to fund myself. So don't think that anything is a restriction. I learned stuff. I interacted with people. I came back. I started my own shop. And yes, I was very, very successful. And what was more than money that mattered, of course, there is a lot of money in weddings. But what was more satisfying for me was to be able to see the joy on the bride and the groom and their parents' face, and the sentiment, the pure sentiment behind it, that made me feel really excited about what it is that I had created for that, exclusively created for that very, very couple and that family.
Here, I would like to inform the students. I will share the links. I, I, I really want all of you to see the videos. They are actually very, very pretty. And the emotion of, I saw one of the mom kissing the father, the son, the groom, and it was mesmerizing to see the emotion coming out. Very well captured, ma'am. And I'll share the links with the students so that they can visit your website and see the details, how it has been processed and how it has been worked upon.
Do we have any more time? Do you want me to take them through a case study so that they can see what is a design and what it
Yes,
looks like in the
surely. I
video?
mean, yes, we can.
So maybe we can see the. Okay, let's see the Muradabad one. Maybe PowerPoint
Okay,
4, and it's
here
related
here
video
I would
recording.
want to tell if you guys can read through, look at ma'am has worked with the who's and who of the Indian celebrities and Indian couture, the high class families that we have. You start with Mittals, you go to even abroad. She has worked with the princess for of Monaco. She has worked with Sachin Tendulkar. She has gone, I mean, worked for Preeti Zinta's wedding, the Amirzas. So it is amazing. The profile is very, very big. And I must inform all of you that you must take out some time and see the website links that I'm going to share with you. So it is going to be fabulous. It took me 3 days to come out of it. The type of work that it takes for a wedding planner
Thank
to,
you, Ritu.
yeah,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
I'm the time since the time I've talked to you, ma'am, and I've got the links. Oh God, I understand the type of detailing that you and your team has been working on, which is fabulous, which is credible. I mean, it is incredible. It is out of the blues, and out of these, I think whatever you've created, we as followers, I mean, we do small weddings. We are not the high. Brands, but we do, and we take inspiration from these pictures. I think all the students must see these links and the website that you have made. It is beautiful.
Thank you very much, Ritu.
I
So,
will play the Muradabad.
no, so if you can just show the PPT first of Muradabad,
Yeah.
then we will play it so that they understand the linkage between the two. And we'll run through, there are 53 slides, but we'll run through it really, really fast.
Okay. Okay. Just give me a second, ma'am.
Yeah. And I hope the students are not getting bored and we are entertaining each other.
I'm stuck. Yes, the Muradabad one.
Yeah. So this is a function that has just happened recently while Ritu's getting the slides up. This function has just happened recently in the month of
Can you all
December.
see?
Are you guys able to see?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. All right. So I just want to take you through. I want to take you through the process as to how a mood board is created. Now, what you're going to see is just now a mood board. This is the mood board which we created for a reception. Now, the concept over here, Ritu, you can stay on this slide for a little bit longer. The concept over here was that I wanted to create something that was floating. So I wanted to create a floating or a hanging palace. And I wanted to take away this party had a lot of guests. They had like 3,000 guests. So I didn't want to clutter the ground area with anything, but I wanted to take the visual away from the ground and put it into the sky so that when people look up, they look up at something beautiful. So I was inspired. If you'll just go to the next slide, Ritu. So I had seen this painting. If you can see this little red painting over here of these houses with, you know, these long trellises of bamboo sticks that are running down. I was inspired by this painting. I said, you know, this is something that I want to do. So for this reception, I said, I'm going to create a palace that is hanging, charokas that are hanging exactly like this painting, and fill up the whole venue so that these things, these long things that you see down there can be substituted with flower strings, and the flower strings will add perfume to the whole place. So it will be a perfumed hanging palace where you are going to be attending the function. So if you move to the next slide, please. This is the big layout plan that you can see over here. You can move. We fixed on the table linen styling as to how the table linen will look. If you can move ahead. We decided on what kind of chairs we will use. Next slide. The cake, how it will look. The next slide. What kind of glass accessories we will use. And let me tell you, these were all made specifically for the function. These is not something that is picked off from the marketplace, but this shading and this color combination was done specifically after we took samples from somewhere else and we colored them into the theme that we wanted the color of this event to flow. So when you see my video, you'll see all these things over there. Yeah. This is how we wanted the corner for lounges to look like. You can move to the next. This is how we wanted the cushions to look like. Next. This is the artist stage that we wanted to give, and the rear wall wrapping. The same impression you have seen. This is a part of that 180 feet tall that I had shown you earlier. Let's move ahead. Then we did the idea detailing. So we started working on Photoshop, which is a tool that you would be learning just now. And we started creating something in Photoshop. So this is the look that I said, okay, this is how I want the charokas to look. We moved from 2D design into 3D design, and we started designing. So this is how our entrance arch was supposed to look. If you move further, Ritu, you can move a little faster. Yeah. Now this is the central, this was the entry area, the central area now. This is how I wanted the whole look to come, that the top of this is going to be lit up in midnight blue color so that it looks like the sky. And this is how the lounge has to look, the central area where the seating is to happen for people. The lighting effect, the way the charokas will hang. And if you notice over here, right in the center, there is one big piece, which is like a golden color, which is in the center of these sofas. So you will see this in the video. So please observe these pictures very, very carefully, because this is how detailing is done. Move to the next one. This is how we wanted the center tables to look. Ritu, you can skip faster. These are all various angles. You can move ahead, Ritu. This is the back of the stage. This is the corner that I showed you earlier. This is the bar, which has chandeliers at the bottom. We move to the entertainment area. This is the dinner. So now you guys will you guys will be able to see all this in the video. So this is the entertainment. This is the dinner area. And please notice the carpet. The carpet has stripes on it. So move to the next slide. This is how we made buffet runners. This is the elevation on the wall. This is the 2 types of carpets that we use. This is the fabric that we used. These are the color. Yeah,
lot
this
of
is
detailing.
absolutely. Then florals. We create these flowers and we do sampling and then we finalize it. And we do the floral styling for the place. So if you'll move on and
That's,
just go back, please, just one
yeah.
slide back. No, no.
Then
The golden one after floral styling, the next one. No, please come down. Yeah, the second last slide. Now this is all sampling. If you see this is all sampling. So this is how we sample and we get approvals from the client that yes, this is how I want it. Sometimes they don't listen to us. They say no, we want very big flower arrangements in the center, so we have to listen to what they want. But design principle must not be broken at any given point of time. So this is the floral sampling and this is the finally approved mood board by the client. Now we can get into the YouTube link and have a look at this one.
yeah, okay. I have the Umaid and the Mehergarh.
No,
I don't have the Muradabad Jharoka video.
you will have it. I've sent it to you. Let me just check. Just give me a second.
If you can also play from there, let me see. What was the number, ma'am? If you can just tell me that, I
Uh,
will.
can you tell me the? I'll have to open my mail. Just give me a second. I'll just do it right away.
Muradabad was 4th, so I'll play this video and let's
Where
see.
it says for 4th, I think.
Yeah.
It's called the Floating Perfume Garden. If you go down to
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'll start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Can you all see? Can you see, ma'am?
Yeah, I can see it. You can make it full screen.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So this is the whole venue. This is where you are entering from. See the carpet. See the flowers. See the central sofa. The carpet here. The stage. Side lounges. So that was a case study for you.
Thank you so much, and it was beautiful.
Amity University's online MBA.
Okay, we don't want to see Amity University
Yeah,
right now.
it is after the video.
Bad
yours,
idea.
yeah.
It is AAFT that has to play over
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Okay,
So,
so how much time do we have? Do we have?
ma'am, we have another 15, 20 minutes.
So do you would the kids like to see one more case study? Then we can do one more if they like. And
Yeah, why not? Why not? It is a pleasure. I mean, I don't know how many of them would react to it, but I would really want you to tell them more about.
Okay, so let's see the one of Umaid Bhavan,
All right. Yeah, sure.
the pink wedding.
Yeah.
The PowerPoint first.
Yes, ma'am. Because of the usage of the computer, it tends to hang.
Yeah, yeah.
Very,
And
very
these
fast.
files of mine are very heavy also.
Yeah,
You know.
because they are made like that. I mean, they're fabulous with a lot of pictures. So that is why I
Yeah.
think. You are saying Umaid Bhavan?
Yeah, Umaid Bhavan, the pink wedding. I think it's
Yeah,
number
it is the pink
pink.
wedding.
Yeah.
Yes. Just a second. Yeah, it is there. Yes. Can you all see, please? Can you
Yes,
see?
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now this is for the same client. The one which you saw earlier was the reception, and now you see the difference between what we did at the reception as compared to what we did over here. So Ritu, you can move to the
Yeah.
next. Now
Sorry.
this event was planned at the Umaid Bhavan Palace, and we must remember the Umaid Bhavan Palace is built with a pinkish color stone. So,
Yeah.
which is why I took the color of Rajasthan, which is fuchsia pink, which is what I started with. But then when we started moving along and discussing with the clients, that fuchsia pink went into paler and paler shades of pink, but we maintained the color palette. So it's very important that we give a color palette to the clients. This is how we did the family of colors for them. The next slide. This is how we decided to
Sorry.
bring in a lotus motif into the wedding, while the wedding was around the lotus and the entire grandeur of the Umaid Bhavan. We wanted to have one character that we would play around, and that was the motif of the lotus. The same
Lotus.
lotus was also incorporated in the wedding card, so that people who didn't attend this function would still see a semblance somewhere or the other. And the
Okay.
same lotus, if you notice the reception, the Muradabad function, if you saw on the wall, there was those big golden lotuses near the dining area. And that is the same carrying on of that lotus motif across all the different functions that we did. Okay, so this is a small tent where the Bharat guys entered. This is
Yeah, I
how
saw
the
this wedding.
groom would enter. You can go to the next slide. This is how we wanted to do wreaths. This is the style of flower styling that we wanted to do. You can move on. Lots of hanging flowers, and this is how we wanted it. This is how we wanted to create a doorway where the bride's mother welcomes the groom. This is how we did the balcony, and if you see on the right side, there's a lotus motif scroll. So this picture that you see
Yeah.
behind is of another wedding that I had done at the Umaid Bhavan, where we use the sun as a motif, but we now moved into the lotus concept. Yeah, so we can move ahead. This is how we planned the Jaimala dome, the Jaimalas. We wanted to do Rangoli. So on the bottom corner is the stepway of the Umaid Bhavan Palace. So wanted to show you how we were planning that. Next, the mandap, how it should be. This is a sketch. Yeah, this is a sketch. Then we have how the pillars should look, what we should do inside the mandap, what all should we have. This is all this marble piece is at the Umaid Bhavan, so how we will decorate it. The mandap seats, how they will look. Diya walls, and we designed it in a lotus frame, what we could do with the lotus, little things, nicks and knacks. Can And then we said, the Umaid Bhavan Palace has these round bougainvillea balls all across the periphery of the area. So we decided to take that whole round symbolism and put it into the tent roof. So we designed this. This is a sample, and we designed this, and we said we'll put it in, and we will make a fusion with lotuses, and you will see how
Oh,
it
okay.
turns out in the film. Yeah. This is how we did hanging lotus wrought iron pieces. This was the pink carpet that we laid out over there. If you this is a sculpture. So the next one, this is a lotus sculpture. This is what we've done for a restaurant over here, but I thought it would look very good in a wedding over here. So we did this, and you will see this in the video also. So something arty farty has to happen. Rangoli, the kind of color combination. So soft decor comes in here, interior soft comes in here. Next. If you go back one point, Yeah, so now the cushions over here, if you see these little 5 boxes, these are the lotus patterns. It's taken off stock photos, and then it's modified to fit in. So there's a lot of use of what is available in the market, and you will see this also in the video. Next slide. That's the bar cutout, and this is how you need to make it. This is how we would hang lampshades. This is the lampshade cloth print, the flooring in pink, the corner tables, the coffee corner tables, the LED, this you can carry on, you can move forward. Now I think this is enough for them to see over here.
Okay.
Now we can go and see the video.
Video.
Yeah. The pink royal garden one.
Yeah, yeah.
See the lotus scrolls on the balcony. See the metal lotus. See the roof of the tent.
So
Okay, so that's me, and I'm open to any questions if anyone has some.
The students can open up their mic and, or if they are not comfortable talking, they can write it in the chat. In the meanwhile, I'll start with the question that I have.
Okay.
Ma'am, how much time do you think, if suppose I have a wedding in October, so when do we come to you to order, I mean, to associate and to plan it, and how much time does it
So
take?
if you're coming to me, it's going to take 8 months. But
8
if you're
months.
looking at something this elaborate,
Okay.
now there are weddings that can be planned very, very quickly with available material in
Okay.
as less as 20 days.
Okay. So,
But if you're looking at designing something new, which has a production time, a production window would take at least 2 months of different things. Before that comes the sampling space. So that takes a month. So you sample and then you produce. And before that, you're ideating, designing, getting things approved, etc.,
right,
etc.
right.
So the total process with me ideally takes anything between 6 to 8 months, depending on how elaborate the design is. Sometimes it even takes a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Also, do the customer, your client, they come with a location, or do you suggest them that this is going to be the location, or you give them ideas that these can be the probable locations?
So my kind of clients are different. They already own palaces and they
Yeah,
already own huge places, so it's never a problem. But that is like 30% of my clientele. The rest of my clientele, I do recommend to. I do tell
okay,
them what is a good place. Some today's kids are very, very evolved. They know that they want to go here or they want to
yeah,
go there,
yeah,
or they're influenced by some Bollywood, or they're influenced by some rich and famous wedding,
yeah,
and
some
they
pictures
they, they
maybe, yeah,
want to copy, ape, or be inspired by it. It's aspirational for some people, so they do come with their options, and then basis that option, then we give them advice that okay, this venue is better than that one for XYZ reason. Remember, when you have to do up a big production and you take up a big hotel, you're not going to recreate this in the night. So they're going
yeah.
to charge you rental for 10 nights, which is going to add on to the cost of the client. So you need to be conscious about all these things when you're choosing venues. The cost
Okay.
of the venue is very, very important to look at.
So you also suggest, but if I am supposedly I've thought of a venue myself, then I can also
Yes, of
uh,
course.
come up with that idea. Also, ma'am, now that
Of course.
yeah, the idea of having you today was basically to also tell our students that not only you can be a fashion designer, or like the way you initially said that do not follow a path. You, this is also an option. And I must tell the students that in India, the wedding market is really big, and we pay a lot of importance to the weddings of our families. So, how do you think they should
It's
start?
a $78 billion market.
See, if you guys, if you know the facts of it coming from the person who's already into it, so it's a very big market. You can think of it. So, how do you think a student of interior design or a fashion design student should take? What would be their first step to launch themselves or to come
So
into this field?
the first step is to shadow somebody,
Okay,
is
to
to
follow.
is
Yeah,
to is to freelance or take a job with a wedding planner or a wedding designer, uh, to shadow them, not be restricted ke I want to sit in office only and do sketches for you,
yeah,
aap
yeah.
jaake wo bahar lagwa dena. The trick
Ji.
is to go out there and to see that what you have designed on paper, whether it is standing there or not. The importance is the self-standing structures, making sure that it's safe for people around. If wind comes and doesn't fall down on somebody's head and kill somebody,
Yeah,
these are things you need to be careful about when you're designing. So it's important that when you decide to go and join a wedding planner, don't just stick to the drawing part of it. They will tell you nahi nahi theek hai, some will tell you we don't want to mix it and all that, but be versatile, be aspirational, because at the end of the day you would want to do it for yourself and make a mark for yourself. So please, when you are learning, please go out there and do everything, even if it means picking up flowers. And I have swept the lawns of Taj myself with a jharu. Even today I do it. I pick up gamlas from here to there, move tables. So there is no such thing that I'm above it. I do it all myself, which is why my team doesn't feel shy of picking up rags from and strings from various places and clearing up stuff. So it's important to be humble while you're working and learn everything that you can get. So quickest way is to shadow or to take apprenticeship or to work. Even if it's for peanuts, do it for the first year. Once your designs get picked up by a designer and they know your worth, you will automatically jump up to such a high salary that you can't even imagine.
yeah. There's a question which has come from Vivek. He's an
Okay.
interior design student. He's asking, what are the things that you keep in mind while dealing with the clients?
So, Vivek, as a designer, you will not be put in front of the client directly. In the beginning, you will need to assist the planner and be with the planner when you go to meet the client. When the client or the planner tells you that this is your space, this is your garden, say I'm outdoors. So you as a designer will observe what is around it and how can you complement what is there, not how will you drastically change things over there. You look at first complementing things. You complement stuff that is there. If it is daytime, it must definitely be complementing. If it is nighttime, yes, you can put black cloth here and there and create a fantasia world inside even the most Mughal kind of hotel lobby that you could be sitting in. Yeah. So you need to be particular when you're looking at a space. You need to be particular to be able to deliver what the client is looking at. Sometimes you have to nudge them. You have to tell them that, you know, this is the new trend, or this is the new thing that's in space, and this is what I think we should do. And the client will first say yes, and then they will always rubbish your first idea. So make sure that if you have an idea, keep it for the second one and don't show it the first time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The next thing is, like the way you've said, we should, the students should look at and follow somebody who's already established. So after doing, say, an internship for 6 months, is that a good time to switch over to launch themselves? Or
No.
no,
No,
okay.
not at all. So
Okay.
as I'm saying that a minimum of 2 seasons. When we talk about seasons, there is 6 months of no wedding time in between in a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If your planner and if you are working with an event company, then you will have conferences and other stuff. I haven't even talked about conferences and corporate events yet, but that's a very, very big space as well. I took it on when I was talking about entertainment in the beginning of the talk, but event space is again very, very big. So in the season time, you do weddings, and in the off season time, you do corporate events. And that's how you earn money all through the year. Now, when you're looking and what is the time period, I would say anything between 1 to 2 years, because your planner is not going to take you straight away into production, is not going to take you straight away into onto the site to make sure that your implementation is happening on site or back end sampling is happening. So you will take time. This space is not as easy, it is difficult. But yes, if you are looking at purely only design, and if you're looking at creating layouts, and if you're looking at being restricted to that, and that also can be a very, very skilled space where you can launch yourself, you know, 3D rendering.
Yeah.
It's very, very big today. People charge 10,000 rupees for a minute. So, I mean, it really, really depends on you as to where you feel your niche is. So if your niche is just design, like paper design, and not get into the production part of it, and launch yourself only as a wedding designer or a production designer, then 1 year is more than enough. But if you want to do it end to end and be really big and get the real money which is there in this business, then you need to learn everything.
Okay, ma'am, one more question which has come up. Does your team consist of a fashion designer and an interior designer, or is it that you take care of everything?
No, no.
Okay.
So let me tell you, 27, 28, no, near 30 years ago when I started doing this, I tried to do my own hand drawings and my own sketches, and
Yeah.
filling them up with watercolor and taking them to clients. And some clients, I mean, out of 100, 2 clients understood what I was trying to say. I realized it was not the right way. So I hired a girl from NIFT who had just graduated. I hired a girl from the gems and jewelry design space, and I hired an interior person. I got these 3 people right straight out of college freshers because I wanted to mold their minds. I didn't want them to get into fashion and then come to me, because then they are all fixed that, okay,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
fashion designer has told me this and my fashion designer has told me, and this is the rule, and that is, I didn't want, I wanted fresh, clean minds. So yes, my team does include even freshers today. Like when I take on projects, I always put out a Facebook request saying that I'm looking for people who want to get into the space, and they only earn 10,000 rupees a design from me, because I am going to be teaching them how to do their work. So it's more of a stipend that I pay them in the beginning. And then if they are really good, like people who are really good, now I pay them 2.5 lakh a design.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I mean that's the kind of level that you can go to. So one design means one entry gate, one stage, one lounge, one bar and one entertainment area. 5 pieces, 6 pieces to one design, and you get paid 2.5 lakh. And that's
So,
like this within a month's
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And you can take 10 projects and be 2.5 into 10.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the student is one of the student is asking, when do you open for internship? They are eagerly now looking
So,
forward.
so
They
now
are so impressed.
let me tell you where I have come to in my career and my career path. In 2006, I decided that I have done a lot of weddings. I have been there, I've done that. I want to give back to society. So I started a little rural banking initiative of my own with a couple of friends, a few
Okay.
friends. And today that's what I support. I support it out in the market. But my passion being weddings, I don't let go of it. So I do at least one commercial activity in the year, and I do 2 3 non-commercial activities in the year, which is like my friends' kids getting married, where I can't charge them a fee, but yes, people who work for me, they do get paid by my friends, and it's a nominal amount, but people do come to me because they know that they can learn a lot from me.
Yeah,
I'm rather open as a person, and I love to teach people. I love people to learn, because if knowledge is not shared, it's wasted. It's going to die with me. So knowledge has to be shared. If I have learned the hard way, you have learned the easy way. You can teach me the easy way. I'm willing to learn that too. All these fancy technologies that you use, Photoshop, Illustrator, 3D Max, this, that, and the other. I don't know how to use it. I learned Photoshop when it started in early 2000, and today those tools don't even exist on the software that I see on the screen. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, what the hell? The only thing that's there is the lasso. Now where's everything else gone?
yeah.
So yes, I would depend on people, and whenever my next project does come on, I would put it up on Facebook job posts, and
Okay.
you would be able to see it over there. I also write on Instagram. So Facebook, I don't accept a lot of friend requests, but on Instagram, if you follow me regularly, though my work is once a year, but if you follow me, you will definitely see whenever I have the next opening, and I would be more than happy to take people on, even while they are studying. Ritu, you can look at,
Yeah,
if I do
we'll do
have
that.
something, and if ours can be given by students, I won't mind getting them onto a project and making them understand how a project is done.
That would be fabulous for us and for the
Yeah.
students also. I mean, having you here today was an achievement for us because we are a very fresh school. It has been just 5 years since we have opened up. But I'm very glad that the students have got in their initial year of their education a person like you to hear from you. Ma'am, also now that we have to coming at the end of the session today, I would request you to kindly give a message to the students, the message to the AFT students, what and
Is this
how.
session being recorded?
Yeah, I have, and I will
Okay.
share it with you.
Okay, fine.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Okay. So as I've been telling you all from the time that I've gotten onto this beautiful conversation of my journey, and a mix of all that I do, and how what you're learning is fabulous. My message to you would be that don't restrict yourself. I have said it before. Be innovative. Don't be scared to walk the path that's unwalked. Don't look at things around you as an impediment, be it finances. If finances are a problem, do it the hard way, do it the way you can. Like I mentioned to you, it was not easy for me to travel the world, so I took up a job in the airline. I sacrificed 2 years for that, but it was a learning. What I came back with was fantastic. The learning that I came back with, I cannot tell you how important it was to launch myself. So you may have to do things, you may have to digress from your career path a little bit in order to achieve the longer goals. So please keep long goals. Don't keep short term goals.
mm,
Keep long goals, so that you know that you can go down a path. You know you have set a goal for yourself, and whether you catch it from here or you go from here and catch it from there, it doesn't matter, as long as you reach your goal. Sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it's tough, and if you're looking at specialization in small spots, then it's a low hanging fruit for you guys. That's something that you can do immediately. But don't do that. Look for a longer term goal and see that you can do something and create something and a mark for yourself in the space of design, which is so lush, which is so good in today's day and age.
Thank you so much, Meher ma'am, for coming and speaking to our students. It was indeed a pleasure for all of us, and we thank you from the bottom of our heart that you could take out little time and you could guide our students who are at times clueless of what to do and what not to do. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you around in the campus someday when things will normalize. Thank you again for
Thank you, Ritu,
being
for
here.
having me. It's been more of a pleasure for me. You must remember that I was thrown out of a design school. I wasn't given admission, and today I'm talking to design students. So that's a very big achievement. And thank you,
You,
kids, for listening to me.
thank you again. Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Bye bye.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.